Hi everyone, Cindy here. How are you today? Yay! Okay, happy days. You may or may not be aware of this, but today's my birthday. I love birthdays and I love to celebrate everybody else on their birthdays, and it's fun to celebrate me too. I love to be really generous. So that's why I have a surprise in store for you guys. Anyway, first off, I want to talk about, what's coming up on our live talk today. Hope you guys are enjoying the Summer of Love series. I would love to hear from you. Send me some hearts. Let me know where you're from, what the weather's like today. I'm in San Diego and it is hot, hot, hot. It doesn't usually get too hot in San Diego, but I'm here to tell you that it is pretty toasty out there. But I love it. I feel so blessed to be able to live in such a beautiful place. Anyway, okay, so let's talk today about something that comes up a lot with women is, dating effectively and really creating that close, connected relationship. And a lot of this comes from learning how to trust yourself, being really clear about who you are authentically, showing up authentically, and how you feel. So this is a big deal. Your intuition, as women, we're really good at our intuition, but we can get into our heads, and our heads can convince us of things that may or may not be the case. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. Let me think of something good. For an example, maybe you go out on a date with a man and he seems to check off all the boxes, right? He dresses well, he's, whatever those things aesthetically that you think really fill you up. You think, oh, those are the things that I want. He's 6 feet tall, dark and handsome, he dresses well, all of these things. And there might be a disconnect in the personality. I was talking to one of my clients, it was a few weeks ago. She had gone out on a date and she, the man really checked off all the boxes. And she felt really bummed the next day because he didn't move it into a second date. And we were chatting a bit. And I said, how did you really feel when you were with him? And, she was really bummed. She was, crying. She thought, she went to this place of, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And, sometimes we can get into this place of beating ourselves up and not actually showing up as our authentic self, or we're not able to feel into who we are or feel comfortable with that person. Have you ever felt that way? How some people it's just easy to be with, and your relationship organically grows. And I mean, granted, that can be hard on a first date. It can, because both of you might be a little bit nervous. So I definitely recommend, getting to know someone on the second, third, and even fourth date and measuring how you're feeling in your body and using your intuition, choosing to trust that and being you. So anyway, she was really upset. And then she came back to me and she goes, you know what? Here's the thing. I didn't really feel like I could be myself around him, and I didn't really get to know who he was. I was I was really concerned about the fact that he checked off all the boxes that I thought I wanted, right? And when we feel into who that person is, how we feel around them, communication is really huge for me. So, word porn, I love it when I'm in a great conversation with someone and we can talk about things we're passionate about. So it's the same thing, men pick up on that. I'm doing many of you guys know that I have an upcoming series, my 3rd annual Successful Woman's Guide to Meet and Marry Her Man. And, I was interviewing an expert. We were talking about the movie. I don't know if you guys remember this movie, but it came out, quite a few years ago, called Something About Mary. And all of these men, were following Mary around, and they had this, it was this thing about her, something about her. And, ladies, it's not about, the fact that you've got brown hair, blue eyes, or the perfect body necessarily. It's really about, there's an X factor. There's something about you. And men sense it if you're not really being you. You may go out on 1, 2, 3, or 4 dates with them, but eventually they'll disappear. So, but if a man goes out on a couple dates with you and he feels really connected with you and you're not the one for him, men are hardwired to make a woman happy. They really are. I talk about this all the time, but I'm going to reiterate it again. They're usually thinking of, what is it, maybe she would be a really good fit for, my buddy or my brother or someone else because she's phenomenal. So I want you to hear that. Or they may say, gosh, we're not a fit. I think you're amazing. And I know there's going to be a great guy out there. And how many times have you dated someone or been in a relationship and he says, you really deserve to be with a man who makes you happy, or you're Prince Charming, or a man that can really be there for you. So he doesn't know how he can make you happy. He's telling you that. And a man feels a sense of responsibility, so he will share, I want to set you free for you to be happy. So ladies, it's using what's on the inside. How do you feel when you're with them? Get really curious when you're with them. Be you. Don't hide your quirks. Show them. If you snort when you laugh, snort when you laugh, And, a lot of times we try to hide our true selves. I was in a group conversation earlier this morning, and I thought it was fascinating. It was talking about being authentic and where we're really at. And have you ever, ran into an old friend at, I'd be curious to know what kind of person you are, right? Have you ever ran into an old friend at a coffee shop and you're like, oh my gosh, Susan, it's so good to see you. How are things? And Susan says, I'm okay, but I've been struggling with XYZ, and, this happened, but, this is really great that's going on in my life, blah, 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 blah. So all of a sudden you feel more connected to Susan because she's really sharing from her heart what's happening in her life, not putting a facade of, hey, I've got this, I'm all good. And a lot of us do that, which makes it hard to be truly intimate with you. What are you hiding? And I see this with my clients all the time. My clients are really smart, successful women, and they're amazing. I look at them half the time and I'm like, you're an amazing catch. And what happens is they'll inadvertently self-sabotage by blocking people from really getting close to them, from not being not being authentic, or, not fully sharing what's on their heart, for fear of, well, if I'm not happy or I don't share that everything's great, he's not going to like me. But that's not true, because as a human being, we have human experiences. Everyone has things that they're thinking about or contemplating, and men love to protect. They're driven by protecting and providing for a woman. So if he doesn't know how he can do that with you, he's going to walk away, quite frankly. And, you may not need it in the classic sense of the word. You may not need him to financially provide for you. But, maybe when he walks in your house and he, I was talking about this earlier, he sees a light bulb that's out and he goes, oh, hey, let me fix that for you. I know so many smart, successful women that are like, oh, no, it's okay. Don't worry about that. The handyman's coming tomorrow or something, because they're hardwired to take care of everything themselves. And it's a slight emasculation. But even if you said that, and then you say, oh my gosh, that's so sweet, I would love it if you did that. It's been driving me crazy. Even if the handyman is coming tomorrow, be careful. He might do all of your work around the house. But, if you let him know how he can best make you happy, that makes him happy. And, I hear a question all the time from women, how do I not get attached too quickly to a man? Because it's natural when you're interacting with someone, and again, we love connection. Connection is something that is, that's part of our DNA. And if we're connecting with somebody that, we're loving what's happening, and, he's gone for a couple of weeks and comes back and he's ready to, bring you into his arms and hug and kiss you. A lot of times women feel like there's a reacquainting period that happens. Let me know if you've ever experienced that. It's like, oh, hey, who are you? And men don't get that, because, the old saying goes, absence makes a heart grow fonder. This is so true for men, because they're still bonded to you that 2 weeks that they're gone or they're away from you. They're, even if they're not messaging you every day. And for a woman, when we start to feel that anxiety of being away from him, that's where we get to learn how to communicate what would make you happy. Gosh, I love it when I hear from you when we don't get to see each other for a couple of weeks because of travel or business or whatever. It's, he wants to do what makes you happy. John Gray said this on a friend of mine's podcast not that long ago, and he talks about this. I love it. Women are like cats, men are like dogs. So let me explain that further. So cats, women, we're independent. There's no real taming us, right? As a man, men are like dogs, right? And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, so back that up. What are dogs like? They want to be connected to you. They want to make you happy. They are just happy, 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 right? And as women, we, remember that. And dogs also love to be trained. Go fetch the newspaper, Rover, whatever. And how many times did you teach your dog that same thing that makes you happy? Getting the newspaper, you rub his tummy, give him all that love. They love that. And it's, this is about communication and teaching them how to treat you, what makes you happy. And sometimes it's not just one time. So I have a quick story for you. This is something that I feel would be helpful. So, a client of mine had, before she married her husband, when they were dating, she really loved chivalry. And, she taught her now husband how to be chivalrous. Nice guy, really wanted to make her happy, all those things. And, she would let him know when he would come around and open the car door, how that made her feel, how happy she was, and all of that. So it took her 2 years to train him fully on this. It wasn't just that one time, because he would forget. They would arrive someplace, he'd open up a car door and start walking towards the restaurant or wherever they were going, and then she would eventually just sit there in the car and she would smile. And then he would clue in and he would go, oh, yeah, I forgot to open the door. And he would open the door and she would smile and say, oh, thank you, sweetie. I love that. And they would go on about things. She didn't complain, oh, you forgot to open the car door. He's a human being and he's learning. And now he opens up car doors. He does all the shit, opens up the restaurant door, always lets her go first, walks on the outside for her. And some men do this naturally. It just depends on the guy. It depends on how they were raised, all of that. But the bottom line is, you guys, it's teaching them, and also, having that compassion, and being able to be you, that authentic you that you are. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you guys have questions, comments, what's coming up for you. I can talk about this kind of thing all day long, as you guys know. And I have a really big surprise for you. I can't believe I'm doing this. My team told me I was crazy, but I really wanted to do something for my birthday. Every year I do something really generous for my database. And so we've been working really hard on this, and I am offering an opportunity to coach with me within my Love VIP Intensive program. So it's a program where we develop a plan and we work together on that plan, and there's a really cool retreat at the end, and it's really special, amazing. And all of the women that I've worked with in doing these events have had such breakthroughs. I mean, it brings me to tears all the time when I think about the breakthroughs that continue to happen, and when I hear from my clients about, having, finally meeting that person, or, appreciating this journey and learning and growing along the pathway. So, quick story. One of my clients, Amy, so I'm offering my Love VIP Intensive program at 82% off. It's nuts. It's crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this. And I'll put the link below here in case you're not in my database for whatever reason. and you feel called to really make love a priority this year and do something different. It's an opportunity that, removes the obstacle of, finances. I really want to support and help every single woman out there, and really creating, not only understanding herself, but understanding men, and really creating that partnership that she deeply desires. So I'll get back to Amy in a second. So you'll fill out an application. We're taking 10 women, and you also get to bring a friend to the event. So like I said, again, we'll put the link in. And my client Amy, when she had come to me after her divorce, and she had gotten involved in another relationship with a man that, felt a little disconnected, and he actually ghosted her. And she was really in this place, and let me know if this feels familiar, where all she wanted to do was just hide. I'm just going to spend the next couple months focusing on my work, watching Netflix at night, eating some Haagen-Dazs, I don't know, but hiding. And one of the things that, I told her, I said, well, you could do that, or we could energetically move forward. So we sat down and we went over, I gave her some heart work to do, and we went over that in detail. And we got really clear on what she, what had gone on in the past for her, what was the disconnect, and what she really wanted to create in a relationship in the future. The hardest thing was, she stopped and she said, I'm really scared because I just don't know if it's out there for me. And I don't know if you felt that way before, but many of my clients have. And Amy chose to energetically move forward, we put together her plan. I got her out there dating. And within 2 weeks, you guys, she met the love of her life. They've now been together over a year and a half. She's experienced this event with me. And, now he's introduced her to her own family. They're planning future, next steps. I can't wait to get the wedding invitation when it happens. And, this stuff fires me up, because it's sometimes, it's these tweaks and the support around your blind spots. We dug deep once she got into the relationship because some things happened, and we started to, we peeled back more of those onion layers. And she's a successful businesswoman. And I helped her master that feminine energy, that communication piece. And it's amazing. She's flown and really created just the partnership that she never thought was possible. She was married 15 years, and she never felt this connected to her husband as she feels with her guy. She doesn't have those insecure feelings when she's not with them. There's just a deep connection there. And that's my wish for all of you guys. So if you feel called to, fill out the application, let's see if it's a good fit for you. I highly recommend it. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'm going to go celebrate right now after this Facebook Live. I've got some friends that are kidnapping me, and then, I get to celebrate with my family later. It'll be fun too. So thank you, and I love you guys. Mwah. Bye.